You want to know how you can tell that Raleigh and Charlotte have changed? Well, how about when a quick grocery store run turns into a 35-minute escapade, and when you checked, it was only supposed to be 5 minutes from Harris Teeter? Or how about when the apartment complex that you toured last year suddenly is a 400 complex building, and they're on phase 2 right across the street? If you live in Raleigh or Charlotte, you have definitely felt this. The squeeze, right? The constant hum of a city that never really takes a breath. And if you're wondering what life looks like somewhere calmer, but still connected, then this video is for you. Hey, I'm Adam Stinespring. I'm a realtor here in Lynchburg, Virginia, in the surrounding area. And today I want to walk you through the real differences between places like Raleigh and Charlotte and here in Central Virginia, specifically when it comes to Lynchburg. Not the, surface level pamphlet version, but the real version where you're actually going to feel this way on a Tuesday. So here's the core problem with Raleigh and Charlotte. They're expanding faster than their roads can handle. 6-lane roads move like there's only 3 of them. Apartments going up faster than you can say rezoning, commutes that swing wildly for no apparent reason. Raleigh at rush hour on I-40 or 540, or Charlotte on I-77 or the 485 loop. You don't need Google Maps. You can feel the stress in your shoulders. In Raleigh, maybe it's Wake Forest to RTP or Apex to RPT. When we compare traffic of places like Raleigh and Charlotte to here, most people commute almost 90 minutes a day in the car in Raleigh and Charlotte. In Lynchburg, folks commute 10 to 20 minutes to work, maybe one way. In Lynchburg, most folks are spending 30 minutes total for the commute unless they purposely move out of town and realize this is happening. You're 5 to 10 minutes from groceries, maybe 12 to 15 from pretty much anything else you'd want if you're in the city of Lynchburg. Basically, your daily commute drops from about 90 minutes to 30. And that's an hour back every day. If you do, let's just say it's once, an hour each day back. That's 365 hours a year. That is 15 full days. Have you done that math? That is 2 weeks. And you're just 2 weeks sitting in traffic. Now, let's talk about housing, because if you're in Raleigh or Charlotte, then you've definitely seen this. Your average starter home is anywhere from $400,000 to $550,000. On, South End and Plaza Midwood, completely out of reach. Even Matthews, Garner, and Holly Springs feel too expensive now. In Lynchburg, a normal 3-bedroom starter brick ranch house with a basement still sits only at around $250,000 to $300,000. And you're probably still going to get a yard that's more than just, a couple square feet. And if you go out into the counties, you're still going to have similar priced homes around the 300, 350 mark, but you're probably going to get a little more land. And if you still want kind of a more step down where you still love the luxury feel, then you might like a place like Forest where homes range anywhere from $400,000 even up to $1 million. Now, you're not going to get endless housing options here, but you're definitely going to get a whole lot more breathing room and probably a driveway where you don't have to back directly into traffic. Now, here's what you need to know about daily life. So when it comes to Raleigh and Charlotte, they absolutely win when it comes to variety. They have more restaurants, more events, pretty much more everything. Lynchburg is going to be different. There's going to be shorter wait times. Parking, takes 20 seconds instead of 20 minutes. And there's going to be familiar chains and a handful of great local spots. And there's also going to be some pretty awesome outdoor access entertainment stuff. You have the Peaks of Otter, the Blue Ridge Parkway, only about an hour away. Smith Mountain Lake, about the same. But you're probably going to miss the food scene. You're probably going to miss Charlotte's energy if that's what you're used to. There's some concerts here, but obviously we don't have the same level of infrastructure for concerts as they do there. So if your identity is kind of, to be with a place with all the buzz, then Lynchburg is going to feel like a pretty big downgrade. But here's what people that I've seen move here from, Raleigh, Charlotte, even bigger places up north, they come here and they're anxious for the first month. They're like, oh, there's nothing to do. I don't know what to do. They're restless. They're like, this is kind of slow. Then month 2, they start to relax. They're like, okay, I can understand the peacefulness here. And then by month 3, they're suddenly saying, wow, my chest doesn't feel tight anymore. I can breathe. My blood pressure's down. Oftentimes we don't understand how overstimulated we are until we turn those volume buttons down. Oftentimes, this is why we go on vacations. A place like Raleigh or Charlotte that has constant growth can create a low form of anxiety. When your city is always in motion, your brain never actually gets to rest. Then one day, you come to Lynchburg, you run an errand, you go to Walmart, and you look up. It's 5:30 in the fall, the trees are orange, you see the sunset over the peaks of Otter, and you say, wow, this is what home feels like. A lot of people that I work with follow what's called the halfback pattern. So they start in the Northeast, maybe New York or New Jersey, then they move to Raleigh or Charlotte. 10 years ago when jobs and affordability there were pretty manageable. Then 10 years later, those cities turned into what they left. So they move again, but not all the way back. They move halfway back. Places like Lynchburg that still kind of feel like what Raleigh and Charlotte did, 10, 15, 20 years ago, where it's affordable, it's manageable, it's still connected, but not overwhelming. And this isn't just retirees. This is Liberty University employees. Centra Health has the largest health system in Central Virginia, offering a lot of jobs. BWXT Technologies has a massive presence here. There's a real job, real economy, and you're still an hour from Charlottesville, still only, 2.5 hours from Raleigh, 3.5 from Charlotte. You're close enough to get the feel and get your fix of those bigger cities, but it's not a constant, overwhelming bombardment of your psyche. So here's how I would frame the decision. You are not choosing better people or a morally superior city. You're just choosing what kind of pressure you want to live under. You can chase the biggest paycheck in the loudest city and the awesome nightlife, or you can choose where your soul and your marriage and your kids aren't running at red line pace all the time just to afford a zip code. For some people, Raleigh and Charlotte is absolutely where they are probably supposed to be. But for others, the next step in their life might be to get out of survival mode and actually into a place that gives them some margin again, both mentally and financially. Now, if you're thinking, okay, but what do the actual numbers look like? Because I gave some general ones, what will my mortgage and utilities and property taxes and commute, all that stuff cost? Well, that's actually, I made a whole video about that. It's called the cost of living video. You can check this one out. So I hope this was helpful. And if you're thinking of coming here, check out the link in the description. You can contact me. And if so, I guess I'll see you at the closing table.